everyone, my name is Courtney Dare, and I'd like to thank you all for coming to my presentation. In my previous presentations, I talked about the basic food groups that we need for a nutritionally balanced diet and tips on reading grocery labels and debunking all of the food claims that are on the covers of them. Today I'll be talking about the controversial issue of body image. First, let me all ask you a couple of questions. How many of you have ever received a message telling you that you needed to change the way that you look? Okay. After hearing these messages, has anyone ever felt like guilty or they needed to make a drastic lifestyle change? Well, that's good. Oh, and that's good. I mean, it's a common thing and you guys aren't the only one. Today I'll be giving an overview of the influences and environmental factors that negatively distort one's personal body image and potentially self-esteem. I will also talk about the aftermath of those who have taken these messages way too personally and it's pierced them. This presentation will also be followed by an activity that will allow you to critically evaluate the distorted sense of body image within the media. By the end of this presentation, you will be able to critically evaluate all the messages that you hear on a daily basis. So, why does skinny equal healthy? As you can see here, in the 1600s, that image of a woman was ideal. The curvier the better, the larger bodier the better. Because back then, that meant that you had enough money to eat on a daily basis, that you weren't starving. And this picture right here is what we idealize as a nation right now. And in reality, back then, this was seen as some poor person with low social class because they didn't have enough money to eat, which is really ironic that the times have changed so much. As you can see here, we have a current trend in runway models where the more bone showing, the better. The more skeleton-like you look, the better it seems like. Here we also have the celebrity influence. Here we have multiple claims telling you that you can change results fast. And although these may increase, physical activity, if you notice here, these short messages are compartmentalizing the body. It's not necessarily encouraging full body health, like increasing your metabolism, your heart rate, or lowering your cholesterol like we've learned in previous presentations. It's just telling you tone every inch, or if you want flat abs, do this. If you want big arms, do this. Not overall encouraging healthier lifestyles. Again, we hear these messages from the media on a daily basis. Whether or not they're direct, like you need to lose this weight in order to be happy. Like if you see all those billboards on the freeway about the lap band patients, like, oh, now I'm so much happier because I've lost this amount of weight. There's also indirect messages saying, you need this product to look your best. A lot of the cosmetics that are advertised are telling us, use this mascara because it'll make your lashes pop. Like you don't need it already. Like you need this product in order to look your best. And when in reality, you don't need to. Studies have shown that individuals who receive these messages are more likely to respond with body dissatisfaction and they want to become thinner overall. Just because they're hearing these messages and they see these images in the media of just very thin models or people on TV. Now these ideals can be very dangerous. These messages, again, are not encouraging healthier lifestyles, but they are focusing on a change in one's physical appearance. There was a study done recently on the effect of thin women in the media on normal, random subjects. So they had about 20 females, and they were given, just images and advertisements, and they all had thin women that were a little bit on the thinner side, not necessarily normal, and they gave them the opportunity to have a snack afterwards. They previously surveyed them and said, are you on a diet? Are you conscious about your weight right now? Are you worried about it? And they found that a significant amount of women who weren't on a diet chose the diet option. Like they had a diet option and a normal option, and a lot of them chose the diet option, even though they weren't previously on the diet. Now, these messages can be taken way too far. They can result in the fear of food, slowly, gradually restraining. It can result in crash dieting, cutting out certain foods or food groups, like, oh, I think I need to cut out my starches today to make up for blah, blah, blah. And ultimately, it can develop into an eating disorder. It can develop into anorexia nervosa, which is restricting, and most of the time, to be diagnosed with this eating disorder, you need to be consuming less than 1,200 calories per day, which is the point of starvation. Bulimia nervosa consists of restricting, potentially, and then binging on a large amount of calories at once. So in one sitting, it could result in 3,000 calories worth of something, multiple things or one thing. But before it's absorbed, they attempt to purge all of it up and attempts to not allow any of the calories to be absorbed. We do not have to be a part of this downward spiral. We can be a part of the solution. How can we do that? We can change our mindset. The Dove Self-Esteem Fund is one of the more positive influences in the media right now. And for those who can't really see this, it's kind of like this message right here says, all this talk about fashion models and extreme dieting, how did our idea of beauty become so distorted? And it's very true, because all bodies look different, we are all created differently, and healthy looks different for everyone. So why is it that we look to the media as this standard and compare ourselves to that, either feel insecure or guilty, when in reality, you're not supposed to look like everyone else in the media? Another thing that we can do is challenge the food police. The most important thing is that there are no good and bad foods. The pattern of food consumption is what matters. And to incorporate balance, variety, and moderation is the best way that you can do that. You don't need to cut out, your favorite dessert because you think it's bad for you. Just having it every once in a while instead of maybe every day is a great way to make that change. Another important thing that we can do now that you are more aware of this controversial issue is to not guilt or shame others for eating a certain food. If we feel the need to encourage healthier habits because we care about them, that's great. But it should be to promote health and not to promote, just losing weight or to just get skinnier. Right now we'll be having a discussion activity where you'll be able to break up into groups or sections and critically think about what you just learned. So here we'll have section 1, and then in the middle, section 2, section 3 over here. So here are the questions. Section 1 over here, we're going to have you think about why is being skinny or ultra-muscular so idealized. Section 2, name one pro and one con of the health advice on the cover of this magazine. I'll let you see it in a minute. Section 3, what are 2 ways that we can encourage others to be healthier and not necessarily skinnier? Does anyone have any questions about that? Is it clear? I'll walk around and make sure everyone understands. But go ahead and talk in your groups, and I'll be walking around. Here's the magazine cover. Just name one pro and one con. Oh yeah.
And the date doesn't change by itself. Well, I have a defective. I have to see that I'm going to go the first day of yeah. It was between that and the road school. Yes. Yes. It was between that and the road school. I don't think in like 5 years, maybe 20 years. It's really stuff. it's just same thing with white. Sometimes they're white with dated. I have like a fake, like if I want to plastic, and I $20. Girl stayed in class. I walked in the door, and it was like one candle, and it like shadowed the class. It was only $20. Oh yeah. Someone told me to like recall all that. I was like,
Go ahead and finish up the last thoughts, and I'll have all of you guys share together as a class.
Did you notice it?
Yeah. It's better now.
All right. Why don't we have section 1 just share why is being skinny or ultra muscular so idealized?
Because the media and fashion and celebrities, magazines say that's the way you should look. Yeah.
Anyone else over there? Same answers? The media is definitely looked to as a standard, which is kind of unfortunate. Section 2, name one pro and one con of the health advice on the cover of the Women's Health magazine.
One pro is just the small style guide. That was like the only positive thing. Because everything else was about dropping or losing weight in a little bit of the time. In days, not weeks.
Yeah, again, it's encouraging just quick fixes that aren't lifestyle changes. It doesn't really equip anyone to live healthier in the long run. It's just, oh, what can you see right now? It doesn't really help anyone at all. Section 3, what are 2 ways we can encourage others to be healthier, not necessarily skinnier?
One way to promote like good health is to make it, you want to always talk about the positives, not the negatives, like not what you're missing out on, but you can encourage like family activities, like learn to always have fun and get physically active, like going for a walk on the beach or through the park or doing a bike ride somewhere. So doing some type of event for physical activity, and then talk about healthy foods that you can make for like a social event or hanging out with family. So you just want to promote like what fun and what good things are about it, not about necessarily cutting out all the yummy things, like cutting out cake. And people think of the negative and then they get kind of obsessed with it.
Definitely. Anyone else have anything? All right. Well, now that you have critically evaluated the ideal image, quote unquote, of the media, I hope that you have rethought your own perception of masculine and beautiful and will make the choice to strive for healthier instead of just skinnier. And again, we need to be sensitive to people and their insecurities, and if you feel the food police coming out, rethink what you're trying to encourage. I would like to thank you all for coming to my presentation. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, I'll have my assistants pass out an evaluation. Your feedback is genuinely appreciated.